Cox here. I almost said Wiz. Well, that would be terrible because it's my own name. I should know how to say it. Anyway, what's up, guys? Liz Wilcox here. Tonight we are talking to two very good friends of mine. I'm so excited to bring them on. Lindsay and Dan McKenzie of Follow Your Detour. And the title of this episode is Detour Ahead, How RVing Can Change Your Life. Camille is here. Hi, friends. Jessica from Exploring the Local Life. Hey, guys. Johnny Lightning is here. Johnny says, Liz, you're here before 8 o'clock. Things must be going well. Yeah, I was in the comments earlier saying, hey, what's up? Just waiting for my laundry to be done. Hey, guys. I am wicked excited. Let's just roll into this. Oh, it says my stream quality has been automatically lowered. You guys let me know. I think I'm connected to the right internet here. Yep. Oh, well, this is as good as it gets, I guess. Hey, Tara. Hey, Rolling Down the Trails. Hey, Heidi. All right. So, quick little update. This weekend, Chelsea, Ed, and I went to Disney World. We got season passes since we're going to be in Tampa for the season. And so, here's just a couple pictures. It was really fun. We went to Animal Kingdom one day and Magic Kingdom the next. And Magic Kingdom is my absolute favorite. We are, I'm the worst travel blogger ever. This is why I always do interviews, because I never take any pictures. These are literally, the only 3 pictures that we took the whole weekend. I wish I had pictures of me, crying at the Dumbo ride. Apparently, they redid Dumbo, and I was crying because it's one of my favorites, and it was just so amazing. All right. Anyway, yeah, and I'm wearing my Disney shirt because why not? Anyway, we're interviewing Lindsay and Dan tonight. I'm really excited. They have always inspired me. I've been working with Lindsay in a mastermind group for, I guess a little over 2 years. I know I've talked about it a few episodes ago when I interviewed Camille Tell of More Than a Wheelin', who is in the comments right now. And it's just been so amazing to see each other grow and to help each other. We do Full-Time Freedom Week together. We've done blogging camp together. Who knows what else we'll do together, but it's been awesome to see her and Dan succeed individually and with their own website as well. I looked today, their Instagram is insane. They have over 22,000 followers. I think I've been on Instagram longer than her and Dan, and I have 1,300. So they are just such an inspiration to me. And I just wanted to show a little quick intro video to them. They do a web series with Camping World called Happy Camper Bucket List. And I thought there's no way I could do a better intro. So I'm just going to play. My stream is messed up. Can you guys hear me? No, it says. Oh my word, it's playing again. Hang on, guys. Oh, there I am. Sorry, guys. Woo, getting red already. Hey, how are you? Lindsay, Dan, what's up?
Oh, hey.
I'm sorry. I am so off my game tonight. There's a big box in front of my screen that I can barely see anything, telling me my stream quality is off, and I can't figure out how to get rid of it. But I can see you guys now. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. You're good with rolling with it. So keep going, girl. And
yeah.
For now, I'm calling you Wiz Lil.
What'd you say?
I said, for now on, I'm going to call you Wiz Lil Cox.
Yeah, okay. I'll buy the domain tonight. Anyway, thanks for joining us. Like I just showed that video, I think it really encapsulates what you guys are all about. Just seriously, you guys are the happiest campers I know. You've made the most out of your life, and it's so inspirational. So can you just tell us real quick how you got into RVing in the first place?
Yeah, go ahead. Dan says I have bad breath, so I'm going to try
We can't
not to
smell it.
talk in his face.
Oh.
Well, first of all, thank you for having us on. Like, we love what you're doing. We're
Yeah.
really honored to be here. So just thank you for that. And our RV story really came to be about 2.5 years ago. We had never envisioned RVing. That was never part of our great plan. In fact, we were kind of working on the typical American dream. We were living in the suburbs, working 9 to 5 jobs, accumulating fancy houses and fancy cars and well, I shouldn't say fancy. It was pretty non-fancy, but doing the American dream type of thing. All with the purpose of having children. Lindsay and I had done a lot of traveling, but we felt like it was time to take that next step. And then we found out some really devastating medical news where after a couple of years of trying to get pregnant, we ended up finding out that I couldn't, medically we can't have kids. Let's just put it that way. And that sort of set us on this like catalyst of a journey. And so I'll let you pick up the story there.
Yeah, so we were just really unhappy in life in the suburbs, as I'm sure so many people watching can relate to, and the commute and the 9 to 5 grind. And so we just kept feeling this stirring in our hearts saying that we needed a big change. And we didn't know what it was. And our first instinct was, let's just try a different city. We've both grown up in Colorado our whole lives. Let's just kind of switch up the scenery a little bit. And so we moved to Raleigh, North Carolina, and it was kind of on a whim. We did everything in like 6 weeks. We sold our house. I quit my job. I found a different teaching job in Raleigh. He found a different job, and we were gone. We left Colorado, and we were in Raleigh, and then we spent the next 8 months there. I was teaching again, and we were taking these road trips, and these road trips are what showed us what was missing and this change that we needed, because we had kind of just taken our life and changed everything or changed our scenery, but everything else was the same. So we were still stuck and feeling those same feelings, just in a different destination. So
yeah, and just real quick, one thing we kind of forgot to say is why how did this change come about? So after we had found out we couldn't have kids, we were really upset and really hurt and feeling very lost. We didn't really know where to go with our life. We didn't know how to move forward. And then we had this epiphany moment, which is what we end up writing about a lot on our website and how we got the name Follow Your Detour. We just came to this realization together. I'll never forget the moment on the couch, and it was like, this isn't a dead end. This isn't the end of our story. Just because we can't have kids, this isn't the end for us. And we were going through some other stuff at that time, and it was just a hard time, but it wasn't the end. And we chose to look at it as a detour and said, we're gonna still get there. We're just gonna go a little bit different of a direction. And that really changed the whole course of our life, like starting to look at it, these negative situations as detours. And then as we've grown and got to where we're RVing, we start looking at positive situations as detours too. When we're ready for a change, we take a detour. So that, just to throw that in there, that's how
I don't know why we missed that important part.
No, that's fine. I like that because I always tell people when they ask me how I'm going to do something or whatever, I always tell people that I'm really firm on my vision of my life. I want to live a happy life. I want to serve people. I like to entertain, things like that. But I'm flexible on the details of how I get there. And I feel like you guys really embody that. You want this happy life. You guys are such like servant leaders. But I love that you're flexible on how that happens. You wanted a family, the typical American dream. When that didn't happen, you said, you know what, to heck with it. Let's try something else. Let's follow our detour. And I love it so much. And I swear to you, it's catching on. I text Lindsay this. I saw something, it said like, follow your arrow. And it had like, basically it looked just like y'all's logo. It was so close. And I was like, well, I'm driving. I shouldn't take a picture because I'll kill myself or someone else. But it's catching on. You guys I feel like you guys have really started a movement with that. And to segue here, I was listening to your podcast with Stories from the Road. That's what it's called, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I loved that. I can't remember which one of you said it, but you said RVing is the gateway to our dreams. I wrote it down, or it's the gateway to dreaming for you. Can you explain what that means to you? I just loved it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to claim that. I'm pretty sure I said that. um, so, I mean, as we said with Raleigh, these road trips were so inspiring to us. And we just felt something that we hadn't felt in a long time. And we were just so happy. So we figured out how to make that full time. And that's where RVing came in. And RVing was really, it was a huge, scary leap. Even though we had moved across the country, we felt even more scared to take this leap because we had already made this big change. We had moved all our stuff to Colorado. Or from Colorado to Raleigh. We're having to move it all back. We had never RV'd before. We had no idea what we were doing. And quite frankly, we just thought everybody was going to think we're crazy and that we're just trying to run from our problems. So it was a huge, scary, scary leap for us. And we just kind of had to make up our mind, know we were going to do it, and have faith that it was going to work out and just make it happen. And so, but once we did, just going into the gateway to dreaming, once we got past that big hurdle of just like going for it, doing whatever it took to make it happen, we realized that we can approach anything, any other dreams that come along, goals that come along, we can approach the same way and just go for it and just do it. And it showed us that it's really not that scary, that your fears are usually, just kind of irrational or not going to happen. So it was kind of we always remember, like, if we can RV full time and if we can take that scary leap, like, we can do anything.
Yeah.
Do you want to finish that?
Yeah. I mean, basically, just to echo what you're saying, RVing for us was that major leap. And I think it could be different for anybody. Maybe it's starting a business that makes you realize what risk taking, how that holds your life when you go out of your comfort zone and you change. I mean, that to us is what we learned through RVing. We never really experienced that before. This unbelievable personal growth. And it was all stemmed, looking back, it wasn't really about RVing. It's not the actual physical living in an RV. It's about pushing yourself out of your comfort zone and going to a place that you've never been. And when you do that, you get addicted to it. It's so exciting. You're just like, oh my gosh, I can do anything. And that's what RV has taught us. And now we really, really believe we can do anything.
Yeah. We thought we were just going on this maybe 2-year adventure road trip. And it was so much more than that. So
I love that. I completely agree about it being addicting, right? So I think some people know this story about me. I used to be really shy. As a kid, I didn't speak to any of my teachers until second grade. Like, I only spoke to my mother and my sister. I would whisper to my little sister, and she would talk to my brothers or my stepdad or something. Like, I was just that much of an anxious kid. And then when I was about 15 or 16, I realized, like you guys, you can just take that leap and see what happens and tell yourself, a different story, take that detour. And so, I started kind of busting out, and this is me 15 years later.
So I can't even imagine.
Just saying, you know what, I can try that. And then, like, oh, wow, I didn't die. This is great, actually. And just keep doing it and doing it. And, I just keep messing up on these lives, and I just keep coming back for more. It's addicting.
Well, it reminds me of this quote that Tony Robbins says. And Tony Robbins obviously is like the king of, just inspiration. But he says, most people overestimate what they can do in a year, but underestimate what they can do in a decade. And I think that when you get in the mindset, we call it like the detour mindset, but when you start looking for opportunities to grow like all the time, you don't even know where you can be because it's a snowball. I always think about that when I hear Tony speak, like looking back where we're at now, it's only been 3 years roughly, and I can't even believe it. I can't imagine. So I can't imagine where we're going to be in 10 more.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that you use the word snowball because it gets bigger and bigger, like year after year, right? And we were talking before the show about, our businesses and our brands, and like, oh, imagine if we would have started at this age, like our friend Eden or whatever. And it's like, yeah, I'm not going to think about that. I'm just going to stay in my lane, but people are really loving it. Trina says, my favorite part is hearing everyone's why. Thank you for sharing. Heidi says, detours are sometimes better than what our original dream would have been. That is so true. I never wanted to get married and I never wanted children. And here I am in an RV with my husband and kid. It's turning out pretty good. Unknown Normal says, we have gone on so many detours.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's something that so many people can relate to. And I've just loved how, like, the more we open up, the more we just connect with people who are in the same boat, and everybody's got their detours and their hard times. And Heidi's totally right. Like, you end up being so grateful for the struggles and the challenges because you really do grow and they end up being better.
That's really true. So what is something, like, what dreams have you fulfilled since you hit the road?
Oh man, it's a long list. It started
We've got
with small
45
things.
minutes, Lindsay.
I know. It started with small things like running a half marathon, which I just never thought we would be able to do. And I say small things because it's not necessarily like life-changing. It's just small little goals that you set and you achieve. And it's just another one of those moments where you're like, wow, I really can't do anything that I just try and work hard for, you know?
I mean, we've since started businesses. I mean, I find that hard to believe, you know, to call us entrepreneurs still kind of makes me laugh, but that's what we're trying. That's what we're doing. And without RVing, we would never be here. And so that dream has come sort of played out because of RVing. We've obviously traveled, you know, we've seen the country coast to coast, north and south. I mean, I never expected that, but I always wanted to. And so that's a dream fulfilled. So I feel like in addition to what Lindsay's saying, it's kind of like small things almost every day, overcoming frozen pipes and learning how to deal with that in an RV, you know, and being able to laugh when you have a poopsicle and you tell your wife to come out here and get some gloves because we got to clean up on aisle 5, you know.
Oh yeah.
And I know you know all about
Unexpected.
the black tank problem. So, you know, like little things like that. It's just
there's little things you overcome every day. It's like, but then like just recently hosting the travel show, Happy Camper Bucket List, that was something literally talked about so early on in our marriage and our dating, even of just how cool that would be to like have that be your job, to travel around and be on camera. And there were so many moments as we were filming that we would look at each other and be like, what? This is our life?
In fact, when we were first married, I was so jealous of Lindsay because she knew she wanted to be a teacher and she had this energy and this passion and this drive. And I was so jealous of that because I was meandering. I was trying to find a job here and trying to do this, and I never was satisfied. And I remember telling her all the time, like, oh, if only I could be a travel show host, that would be the best job ever. And yet I never had like the confidence or courage to pursue anything like that. And so to be here sitting right now and have that experience, it's I don't know, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. And then of course writing my book just this past March, huge lifelong goal that I kind of just thought I'd never actually do. I think everybody says that. So but again, RVing just kind of allowed us to have this greater vision for ourselves and for our future and go after anything.
Gateway drug.
Gateway drug.
Yeah, so I have two things. If I'm echoing, you guys in the comments let me know because I can hear it a little bit. But so I want to circle back to your half marathon. And this is just to show you guys that it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to believe in yourself right from the get-go. Like if you want to go full-time, whatever your big dream is, you know, you want a big YouTube channel, you want to write a book, you want to, you know, run that half marathon. I know for a fact that Lindsay and Dan trained for this half marathon, still somehow did not believe in themselves enough. They know what I'm about to say. And didn't even sign up for the race until what, like the day before or the week before or something like that?
Well, just in case.
Just in case we could back out.
So you don't have to have this like perfect view of yourself or, you know, say like, oh yeah, I started this web series. I did this, I did that. You just have to start acting. And there's somebody, another like great self-help guru like Tony Robbins, Seth Godin says, you know, you don't have the belief before the action. You act and then you believe. So they acted. They started training for the half marathon. I remember I was so excited because I was going to run the same half, and I was like, okay, good, because I need people to help me get off my butt and do this. And I knew if they were going to do it, that I would do it too. And I remember when they finally signed up, they had already been training forever. And, you know, they, with their blog, you know, you guys, you know, you wrote, you did videos, you learned editing, you know, wrote for other people all before you got that series and realized it could be like a real thing. And there was something else you said, but I can't remember how you ended it. Oh, your book. No, I don't know. I can't remember. But it just I just feel like, you know, you don't believe in yourself and then act. You have to start acting, and then, you know, like Dan said, all these things suddenly can become a reality.
Yeah. Honestly, most of what we do is just show up and then just like figure it out as we go. I mean, half the time we have no idea what we're doing, but we pretend we do. It works.
Right. And I know a lot of people say, you know, fake it till you make it, but there's someone, Jeff Goins, he says, you know, you don't fake it till you make it. You just, gosh, I am so off today. He says you
quoting a lot.
Believe it until you achieve it.
That's
so, you know, you just keep doing it, you know, and like things start happening for you. Like this show, I was like, well, one day, like my big dream in my life, I don't even think I've ever told anyone, like I would love to host the Tonight Show, like, you know, 10, 15, 20 years from now, like be on NBC doing my thing, you know, but I can't do that until I get experience. And clearly, you know, like I don't know Lorne Michaels or other executives at NBC. I just got to do it the way I can do it now.
Yeah, exactly. And you're showing it up, you're showing up and doing it, and good for you.
And sometimes I get spaced out. Other times it's like an amazing show, but we roll with it, folks.
Yep. And everybody loves you anyway, so.
Yeah. So what, now that you guys have been in the RV almost 3 years, you've done so many things, you know, you followed your detour truly. What new dreams do you have in store?
So, we're actually in the process of pitching another show. So again, we don't even know how to do that. We were just like, we just need to figure out how to, because Happy Camper Bucket List was just a 1-season thing, and it just gave us a taste of how cool that dream is and how much we want to go for it. So we kind of just Googled how to pitch a TV show and have just been trying to do whatever we can do. And we today actually had a Skype interview, which was really exciting. So fingers crossed on that dream of just continuing the travel show hosting.
Yeah, I mean, I think beyond that, we are dreaming of how to make this lifestyle truly sustainable for us. Like, because I think it looks different for every person, you know. Totally. And some people want to live in an RV forever, and some people want to do it for a short amount of time. What we've learned over the last 2 years is we really want to have a life of freedom and flexibility, and maybe that's traveling in an RV for 3 months, 5 months, 6 months, 12 months. Doesn't really matter. We want to be able to come home and have like a home-based environment too, where we can see our family and also continue working. So we're really striving for that sustainability piece. That's probably our biggest dream right now. And that takes a lot. That takes building up our income. That takes building up our businesses. You know, obviously saving enough money for house and all that good stuff. And so we're dreaming really hard on that, because our ultimate goal is to be able to go anywhere in the world that we want at any time, and have the flexibility to work while we do that. So that's our biggest dream, and we're really working hard on that.
Yeah. Dan just quit his job in November. Gosh, it's been a while now.
Yeah, it's not just anymore.
Well, like what, October?
Yeah.
November.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the first step. catapult us into, okay, we got to make this happen, because we've been doing fine for the past 2 years, and now it's like, okay, we really need to step it up and make this legitimately sustainable and not just scraping by, So we're still figuring it out. I mean,
every day.
yeah.
So what kind of advice would you have for people that are looking, to full-time RV, and how can they make the most of it when they are, like you, kind of in a transition? You're not, obviously you're not financially, wealthy, like independently wealthy. You didn't come from, what's a famous wealthy family? Anyway,
Yeah.
So
we're all like,
The
yeah,
Trumps.
how can people get the most out of RVing? How can they get the most out of following their detours as well? Because those come up like crazy when you're RVing.
I think for me, the biggest thing is you can plan and plan and plan and plan. And the whole meaning behind detours is like, usually plans don't work out. So sometimes it requires you just to take the lead, take the risk, have a little faith, and have faith in yourself, knowing that you're going to figure it out and you're going to take it one step at a time. And take any opportunity you can. Anything that comes your way, jump at any opportunity, because you never know who you'll meet, or what skills you'll learn, or what path that will get you on, or lead to something else. So just keep your eyes out for anything to.
Yeah, and I think that there's there's that saying that there is no perfect time to do something, and I really really believe that. Like you said, you can plan and you can plan, and obviously we're not advocating like not having a plan. You should have a plan. It should be something that you can feasibly achieve, but you also can't wait for every T to cross. And there will be sacrifices. Like I mentioned this before we hit the road. One of my biggest dreams was a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and I've been training for 5 years straight, and it's something I really love to do. But right now, I'm giving that up to do something different today. And so there's always sacrifices. My advice is there's no perfect time, and you just got to believe in yourself enough to know, like, you have that dream in your heart for a reason. That doesn't come to people. People don't just wake up and think, you know what, I'm gonna move out of my house and live in a tiny box on wheels. That sounds like a really good idea. So we always say to people, like, if you feel that, if that's something you're interested in, you may not know, like, oh, are we gonna like it? Is my family gonna do well with it? But if you have that stirring in your heart, chances are good you not only like it, but you'll love it. And even if you don't, the worst thing that can happen is you go on this incredible road trip that maybe it lasts a month, maybe it lasts 6 months. Who knows how many people get to say that they have done that?
You'll get something out of it for sure. And one thing that we're doing too is, like, if something doesn't work, try something different. And sometimes that's so simple and sounds silly, but sometimes we just get stuck in these circles and we're unwilling to try a different strategy or a different route. So just be willing to make change and embrace change. And
Yeah, I agree. I mean, right now we're sitting in Tampa. We've been here since literally the 1st of January. The full timing with Ed getting out of the military and learning about himself and learning to full time at the same out the gate. It just really wasn't, the right time for us. And, it took us like 11 months to finally say, like, hey, we can do it our way. We don't have to do it this way. And, it's working out much better for us. We're taking weekend trips. I'm traveling with Chelsea a lot more while he's in school. And, he feels much better about taking trips because he's able to do his own thing as well. And I love what Mike is saying here. He said, I worked hard my whole life, got and made good retirement choices, married the best woman in the world, was patient, and now it's happening. The time is now and mine. Congrats, Mike. And Mike just hit the road, I think, about 2 months ago. So, he's been working hard for a long time. The trekkers say, try something different. It's such a good point. If what's working isn't working, then you don't have anything to lose by changing it. That is so true. And that was one thing we struggled with. It was, I've built this website, I've built this brand around full-time RVing. What will people think, or whatever. And it's like, well, we already feel like we're losing because something's not clicking for us in the moment. We're doing something wrong. And so, yeah, it just came down to, well, we have nothing to lose because this already kind of stinks right now. We're not getting along at all. So let's try this. And yeah, just remaining stationary and going, being the weekend warrior type right now works really well. And, now we're thinking when he graduates in March, we'll have a little more of that financial runway that people are always talking about. And, possibly it could be, a much different situation then. And I think we had one more really good comment here. Johnny says, something my dad used to say, can't, never did anything. And that's a really, really
That's so
good
true.
one.
I love that.
That's so good.
Yeah. So, this is a good one. So what has RVing taught you guys about being a couple and about yourselves individually?
Yeah, I'll jump out and take it because I actually talk about this a lot. Like, the transformation that I've got to witness has been so amazing, right? I mean, when we hit the road, Lindsay had to give up a huge piece of her identity. She had just quit being a teacher, and honestly, she was probably feeling very lost. But to see her grow, right? I mean, that's one of the beautiful things about RVing is you as a active participant get to watch in that other person's growth because they're being challenged every day. And Lindsay was being challenged every single day. Starting a blog, figuring out how to do this, figuring out how to do that, figuring out how to live in a tiny RV, downsizing, all these different things. And it just gave me so much more love for her because I got to watch her just bloom into this different person. Like, she was beautiful as a teacher and she was driven and passionate, but to see her like just pivot and come this direction, it's just been, she's so confident and full of life and energy, and it's like it's been great to get to witness that. Love that.
I don't know how
That's so sweet.
I
love when Dan tells that story. Even the very first full-time Freedom Week, I interviewed you guys and we were talking about pretty much the same topic, and that was only, I think you guys had been RVing less than a year. Mm-hmm. And I just love when Dan raves about you, and it's so true. So now I remember what I was going to say earlier. So it was the last night of full-time Freedom Week. We're trying to get our Skype together, do a call like this. And Lindsay puts, like, in our messenger or something, I just started writing my book. I'm like, do you understand how much pressure is going on right now? You're writing a book. Like, I don't even know who you are anymore. Like, focus, woman.
I know.
But it was also, after all the shebang went off, I was like, wow, I just love that she has turned into this action taker. This person, if she feels something, if she feels the detour coming, like, she turns the wheel right away. There's no hesitation anymore. She is just, totally, she's just going to go for it. And then I read her book, and I seriously, I was crying for so many reasons, just from the story, but also, from knowing her one way and learning, why all of this transformation was going on when as we were getting to know each other as well. And it was just, I feel the same way, Dan. It makes me just love you so much more.
Gosh, guys, I'm like blushing over here.
That's me too, really girl. It might be because I don't have air conditioning on right now. I'm in South Florida, but yeah, it's just been so great. And Dan, you quitting your job, I remember that was something you had kind of gone back and forth with for so long, like over a year. And for you to just, do the exact same thing, say, you know what, this is my detour and I'm going to turn the wheel right now and finally cut the cord and go all in. Like, that was so, I was so proud of you. Like, it was so awesome.
You.
I know. I was going to say, like, ditto, he had always dreamed of doing something on his own, and he never knew what that was, and it was he had told himself so many lies for so long that kept him from just really going all in on creating the life he wanted. He long before me wanted this lifestyle and didn't just didn't know how to make it happen. And
Yeah.
so same for me to watch him go through that. And like you said, just being able to do all this growing individually, but then also the RV has helped us just create this shared vision
Yeah.
for our future and
Yeah.
a goal that we're both working towards, this sustainability piece of being able to, whether it's RVing or traveling abroad, always, be able to weave in travel and work. Um, being able to work towards that together and have our, follow your detour together and find these roles that really can complement each other has definitely strengthened our marriage.
Yeah, that's so true. Like on a practical standpoint, beyond the growth and mushiness and all that, like on just a practical day-to-day standpoint, living in an RV can be really powerful for your relationship because it forces you to spend time together, which sounds so weird. You're married to this person, but before, when we were living in the suburbs, we only see each other for a couple of hours, and when it came to quality hours, those were even smaller. Like
Totally.
the morning, that wasn't quality time. And maybe there was some quality time before bed, but we were also, she was in all the stress of her job, and so there's so many people in America don't get to really bond and talk to one another. And that's so pivotal for us. We've spent so much time together now just simply talking. And that allows her to share her dreams and my dreams, and we forge this dream together. So just that time, on a practical sense, can be very healthy. Obviously, it could also be detrimental, to your relationship if if it's not working out, then you're forced to be together in a box. And then on the other practical side, like one thing that was really cool for us was to see roles reshifting and evaluating and like teaching us different teamwork. Because in our traditional life, we have set roles and schedules and this and that. And moving into an RV really changed that. And we had to work on our communication. Like, really, how do we communicate together to get things done that are different than we've ever had to do before? And so, just practically speaking, RV life can really help shape marriages. In fact, I might write a book called The Mobile Marriage Trademark.
I love it.
Saying that,
I'm
we'll
gonna
see.
buy that domain too, Dan. I'll sell it to you. Only double the price.
Sure.
Yeah, I love that, and it's so true. Somebody in the comments, Unknown Normal, said, with relationships, RVs are a magnifier, good and bad. And I completely agree. You talk about, you didn't have a lot of quality time. When Ed and I got married, we had only known each other 9 months, and half of the time was long distance. We got married, we got pregnant right away. Like, I'm talking like, I think 3 or 4 weeks. Wow. And then when I had Chelsea, he had to go into training, so he was pretty much gone for about 6 months, and then he deployed for 12 months. And we moved into the RV like a month after he got home. So we'd been married for 2 years, but we had only been together, like 40% of that time. So there was like no quality time. And then he was still working in the military. Quality time was more because we were in the smaller space. But then when we started traveling, we realized how little that we actually did know about each other and how little we knew about parenting together and things like that. And of course, there were hellacious days. There were days where I thought, what am I doing? What is he doing? But overall, like I from the same way, like I consider it such a blessing, like a crazy, wild, bumpy, unpaved road detour. Because I felt like when we finally made the decision to stop traveling full time, it was something we had to do together. It was something we had to talk about. We had to have the same goals. We had to, really take Liz out of it, take Ed out of it, take even Chelsea out of it, and just come together in what is best, very family centered and not me centered or us or, very family centered. And I love that part of my detour. I shared with it on my Facebook, I think on New Year's Day, I said something like, last year was the worst year of my life, but I'm so glad it happened because I am ripping and raring to, make 2019 the best it can be. And it's so true. I feel like Ed and I are getting along way better than ever. And I feel like I know him. Like, he's not just like, oh, Ed, yeah, my husband's over here, he's doing that. Like, I feel like I really know him, and I can sense things better. And so if we do decide to, even go on a more extended trip, it's going to go a lot better.
Yeah, yeah.
It's great.
I know traveling can.
I love the magnifier quote. I feel like that's so true.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Traveling just brings up all sorts of different unique challenges and things you have to kind of figure out together, and you grow so much personally traveling. So when you do it together, it can really help you grow together as well.
Right. So before we start talking about your book, people are already raving about it, Lindsay. You are so good. Heidi said, Lindsay's book, Follow Your Detour, is so good. Sally Draper says, Lindsay's book was such a blessing to me. I really appreciate you both for sharing your challenges and blessings that have come from them. Oh, that's great.
Both of those two mean so much to me because their emails, and they've been so supportive. So I don't even have words for how much their words have meant to me. So
that's so, isn't it amazing when you put yourself out? It can be so scary. But like I said at the beginning, I feel like you two are just, you're servant leaders. Like, you're here to serve, and it's so great when you see the fruit of your labor, I suppose. And it's especially hard when you're building a business online. It can be hard. You get a lot of haters, but then you get something like that. It just makes you feel really good.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, writing the book, I felt like I was doing it almost selfishly because it was so emotional for me and so cathartic for me that I was like, well, I hope that people can get something out of it. And then getting messages and comments like that, like, just completely blew me away. Like, it's just made it all worth it 100 times. And
yeah, it's been pretty fun to watch, honestly.
That's really cool. The Trekker said, just got a new Kindle, and Lindsay's book is on my home screen. Next book I'm reading. Awesome. Exploring the Local Life says, love you too. Adventure Eat Repeat says, woo, glad we made it live. Hey,
and all of our friends are on. It's so sweet.
Aw, that's awesome. Yeah, it's fun doing a live, right?
Yeah.
Tara says, your book sounds great. Mike says, I may need to auction off that first signed copy.
He did. He actually got the very first signed copy.
That's super cool. That's awesome.
He deserves it.
We've got one question coming in. Unknown Normal says, what was the biggest thing you learned about your relationship?
Oh.
I think that this is going to sound super cheesy, so just pre-warn that.
Great.
That's good. I'll get used to it.
But I really think that this RV experience and subsequent experience, starting businesses and trying to work together, these have been very different circumstances than our relationship started on, right? When we were younger and we were dating and then getting married, like, these were not things that we were doing. And what I've learned is that our relationship, or at least I believe our relationship, can really go through anything. I think we can survive anything because we've done all these different things. I mean, sometimes when we're working together, like, we've definitely learned that working together is harder than it should be, probably. Like, it's a challenge to work with your spouse, and we do things very differently, and my skill sets are a little different than hers, and sometimes it's like, oh my goodness, what are you doing? I want to shake you. But we've grown. Like, I'm so glad that we are doing some of these things. I'm so proud of her for all the things she does outside of what we do together, but what we do together is really great, and I think that that's what I've learned the most.
Yeah, and I just think that's going to help us to continue to seek out different challenges and different scary things. Like, adoption might be something in the future that we look into. Like, we're still working on that, but and I just feel like those type of things aren't as scary because we've gotten through so much together that I know we'll tackle something else too. So, ditto what he said.
That's awesome. So, Lindsay, tell us a little bit more about your book for those that haven't heard of it, because there are a few people that were asking in the comments. And then tell us about any other projects you guys are working on together.
Okay, so my book is, of course, called Follow Your Detour.
Everything.
And it shares some of the story that we shared tonight, just kind of how we got into RVing, but it's really not all about RVing. So it's half memoir, half self-help, and I really just like paint the picture of this really hard season of loss in my life and this meaning behind following our detour and how that just led us down this incredibly transformational journey, and how it ultimately led to me being where I am today, finding my identity, finding where my happiness lies, and just all the exciting dreams that we have as a result of our detour that we would have never planned for ourselves. And so ultimately being thankful for that season of loss and that pain and hard time. And I weave in at the end of each chapter a like your turn, and just try to help connect with the readers and help use my story to encourage them with whatever they're going through. So I hope it's relatable, even if you're not going through infertility like me or the loss of a loved one, the things that I share in the book. And then at the end, I share just kind of what we talked about tonight, our detour mindset, and just try to help give people some strategies for getting a mindset that will help you just approach detours and embrace change and take risks, not let your fears stop you. So that's what it's about.
That. And I just want to say, if nothing else, you should get this book because Homegirl wrote it in like 80 days. How long? It was like 72 or something?
62, the whole thing. So I wrote it in
oh my gosh, you guys.
5 or something, the rough draft.
She's a superstar. Get the book already. It's in the link or it's in the description. Seriously, it's amazing. Yeah, okay, 60 days. I do remember that now because it was supposed to be like 90 days and then you wanted to release it on a certain date. And it's just so amazing because Lindsay and I, we work together. We've basically been meeting like every week for 2 years. And then I didn't hear from her for 2 months. And everything fell apart. And I was like, where is Lindsay? And, you know, I was trying to reach out to Dan for something that I needed. And I'm like, Dan, is she alive? Are you feeding her?
I know.
I did.
It was, she always says that she blacked out during that time.
I believe you.
She just like went into a room and I wouldn't see her for 6-8 hours. I don't know, you know.
Well, I just think it's amazing. I mean, like I said, like you just in the last 6 months, you're just embracing that detour and like, you know, turning the wheel hard. Like I'm gonna write a book, and boom, I wrote a book. Buy it. And I was like, okay, done. Bought. But yeah, it's amazing, and you know, if nothing else, just let it be a story of inspiration that she wrote it in 62 days, guys. Come on. So before I interrupted you, I know you guys are also working together and with some other couples on something called Nomad Collab. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, so Nomad Collab is a project that we launched in February. It's been coming together for a while, but you know, as you know, like when you're traveling, it's really important to find your tribe. You know, that's a very common phrase, especially in the RV community. Find your tribe, find your tribe. And that's great. And there's so many awesome channels to do that, Instagram and Facebook groups and things like that. But what we felt we were longing for was trying to find relationships with other couples. You know, there's family travel, there's backpacker travel, and we just felt like we were having a hard time connecting with other couples who are doing this, and not just traveling by RV, but looking at the lifestyle and trying to build this sustainable nomadic life that we talked about earlier. It's not just about traveling; it's about a lifestyle.
It's like full-time freedom.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly like that. And so we actually joined this mastermind group with some other couples who are now our business partners, and it was just such a powerful experience to have these other couples who understood us, because our families and, you know, our friends, they don't live this lifestyle, so they don't necessarily understand the challenges that are unique to this lifestyle. And so having these people to go to and say, listen, who understand what it's like to want to live an alternative life, was so powerful that we just decided we need to come together and make this a place that other couples can come. And so the idea started, and then we thought, wouldn't it be great if we had um, live meetings and places to meet with others, and what if we had all the information that you need to get started on the road or this or that in one place? And oh, hey, by the way, Adam, you're a certified public accountant who specializes in nomadic taxes. Maybe you could help out. So
what a coincidence.
yeah, and so the idea came, and Nomad Collab was born, and it's basically a membership website that is all of those things, kind of like social media. It's got courses, um, and it's a place to connect with other couples. And we are
about to start our second round of beta. So it's really like one of our struggles too, not just finding community. Like we could always Instagram people or connect on Facebook, but it was like we had to go everywhere to find. We had to go to blogs to find information about this, that, and the other. We had to go to YouTube and then Facebook and Instagram. And it was just like we could just have our, build a little community where everything's right there. So that's really the goal. And yeah, just we've got 11 couples that did 12 weeks of beta with us that are incredible people. I don't know how we attracted the coolest couples out there, but they are so fun. And we have weekly live meetings, and so we've all gotten really close. And now we're finally ready. We've taken it really slow because we're really wanting to build like genuine relationships. So the end of May, so May 21st to May 31st, we're accepting applications for our next 20 couples. And the door closes on the 31st, and 20 is our hard max. So be sure to apply if it sounds like you and you're a traveling couple and just wanting kind of support going through this crazy lifestyle and all the challenges you have to navigate.
That's awesome, because we actually had someone asking, is it still in beta or are you opening it up yet? Yes. So tell us those dates again, the 21st, so in a couple days.
21st is when the application window opens. It closes the 31st. So just go to nomadcollab.com and subscribe to the email list, and you'll automatically be like fed all the information you need just to know where to go to apply, the dates, and all the details.
That's awesome. That is 1 week away, guys. And if I know anything about Lindsay and Dan and their partners, I'm sure it's amazing. These people know their stuff, and if they don't, they, like I've been saying, like they just love to serve, and they will figure it out for you. Unknown Normal says doing it now. Awesome. That's nomadcollab.com. Awesome. I'm so excited.
Yeah, me too. Awesome.
Yeah, we're really excited about it. It's something that, honestly, when you talk about like fear and stuff, I mean, that the idea that we could put this out into the world and have other people say, yeah, that's something that we want to be a part of, has been terrifying. I mean, that has been putting ourselves out there in a way that we haven't done. Follow your detour, yes, but the feedback that we've gotten so far has been really good. And on top of that, I mean, just the couples that we've gotten to meet, it's been great. So we're excited to see where it can go.
We're using the membership just as much as the members. Like, we're always in there asking questions, and everybody has this wide range of skills and knowledge, and so it's just really cool to kind of collaborate and pick each other's brains and support each other in what we're doing.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you said, you've got to find your tribe, and I feel like Unknown Normal, I've met them, they've come to the RV, they've cooked tacos for me, like they would be a perfect fit. I'm just putting my recommendation for acceptance.
Okay. Stamp of approval.
They're a really cool couple. Yeah, so, all right, I think we had one more question, and then I'm going to let you guys go. The Trekkers said, it sounds like we can all learn a lot from Lindsay's book. What did you learn from writing it, Lindsay? I think that's a good way to end it.
Yeah, the biggest thing for me was just another reminder of not waiting to do something. It was on my heart. It was something that I knew I wanted to write and share this message, but I felt like I needed to get to a certain point in our detour to have like credibility, or, like I kept thinking, well, maybe since I start the story with, us really launching our detour because we found out we couldn't have kids, and maybe I need to wait until like we've adopted, or I have this like really kind of tangible, like, look what this brought me. And then I kind of woke up one day and I was like, you know what? There's not as much power in that. And a lot of people write books like that. Like here I was once and here I am now. And it's hard to relate sometimes to people that have already gone through it and are on the other side. And I really wanted my perspective as the author to be in the depths of this detour and still really having no idea where it's going to lead us, and still having some pain from, that original loss, and just sharing that, I'm still figuring it out. And I hope that like that really came across in the book, that there's a lot of power in just sharing what you're going through right now and not waiting until you feel like you're successful enough, or you're, healed, or you're on the other side, because it's just more authentic and in the midst of it all.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you guys so much. Mike said, thanks for another good source of information. Really great interview. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, guys. What?
You just have the RV community is just the best.
Really
I just
is.
I get emails and I hear things like that, and I'm just like, God, we are so lucky, and these people are so nice. Like the RV community is the nicest people in the world. So
you're so right. Where else can a girl named Wiz Lil Cox have her own damn show?
That's right. That's awesome.
So if you're gonna like do anything risky, like, this is the community to do it, because you will have so much support and so many people backing you. So
that is so true. But I mean, for the RV bloggers out there, you still do have some haters sometimes. I got a pretty nasty email the other day, but I also got 20 more super nice ones. So Lindsay is so right. I mean, if you're thinking of, launching your YouTube, I know a lot of RV bloggers, or RVers want to. It really is, because I have friends in other spaces and they just get tore up from the floor up. And I feel like RVing is such a relaxed community. So thanks.
So true. Yeah.
All right,
guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Good luck with the production company and all of that. We can't wait to have you back when you guys are real rock stars on TV.
Thank you. We can't.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
I know. You'll have to call our agent though.
Yeah. By that point, don't forget about me, guys.
Kidding.
I'll be really sad. All right. Bye.
Good night.
Good night. Bye.
All right, that was so awesome. Adventure Eat Repeat says, Liz, who is up next on the TVC interview? I really like this format. Yeah, welcome. I don't think I actually know you unless you have obviously you have a real name. But yeah, our format is I always do an interview. Sometimes we play games. I do little segments. But that's really funny that you mentioned that, because actually next week it's not going to be an interview format. Oh, it is going to be me. I am just going to be the only one on the show. It's going to be an Ask Me Anything. And as you can see in this picture, I'm wicked excited. So what I want you to do is submit any questions you have for me, or any stories you want me to tell, anything like that. Just send me an email at liz@thevirtualcampground.com. I'm going to do an Ask Me Anything. I doubt it will be an hour like normal. But basically, yes, somebody put the idea out a couple weeks ago when I asked for ideas about, Liz, you should probably talk more about yourself. Why don't we interview you? I thought, hey, that's a really good idea. Why not? So awesome. Mike says, Liz, bare and open. Well, I don't know about that, Mike, but I will be here answering questions. So if you have any burning questions about me, or, you just want to know more about me, something specific, just email me, liz@thevirtualcampground.com. I'm really excited, and I will see you guys next Tuesday.